Hey everyone, welcome to day 3 of the Win or Learn 25-day risk-taking experiment. I'm Harlan Cohen, author of Win or Learn, and the guy in your corner to help you during this risk-taking experiment. Today is all about how dangerous it can be to go after what you want. Let's get started. So when I read this headline, more than half of US workers are unhappy in their jobs, I think, there are a lot of people who want a different job. There are a lot of people who want to go to a place and do something very different. There's a lot of people who are in toxic environments, who are performing tasks that don't align with their purpose, with their passions, with their interests. And yes, you can tolerate that up to a certain point, but I'm a firm believer that you can go after what you want. And it's hard to go after what we want. It's scary. It's dangerous, especially if you are taking care of other people and they depend on you and your revenue. So how can you do this? And I want to help you to be able to make that change to go after what you want. And one more thing about this, we don't really learn how to want. I'm going to dig deeper as this lesson continues, but the idea of being able to act on the things that we feel and being able to safely navigate what happens when we pursue what we want is something that we aren't really taught. When it comes to wanting love, nearly half of US adults say dating has gotten harder for most people in the last 10 years. So this is data from the Pew Research Center, and 75% of respondents say that it's very or somewhat difficult to find someone. So we live in a world where there are more ways to find more people, more ways than ever before, but yet 3/4 of single people are finding it incredibly difficult to get what they want. 2/3 are not happy with their dating life at all. So again, I see a lot of people who want love in their life, but aren't able to find it. And again, we don't learn how to go after what we want. Most of our education is based on waiting for things to just happen, especially when it comes to dating. When I do live events, I'll ask people if they're single, and I'll say, raise your hand. They raise their hand. I say, all right, so keep your hand up if you're looking for love. And all these people put their hands down, and I find someone who put their hand down, and I say, really, you don't want love? And they say, oh, I'm too busy, or they come up with some other excuse. And I said, if someone were really hot and they came up to you and you were really interested in this person and they said, hey, do you have 15 minutes to go for a walk? Would you go for a walk? And they're typically like, uh-huh. And I'm like, okay, so you're interested in love, you just don't want to do the work. You want it to just fall into your lap. And of course, it's easier because you don't need to pursue it. You don't need to go after it. But what's wild is you can get all these things, but not be great at sharing what you want, not be great at expressing how you feel, not being great at offering what it is you really need and desire, with an understanding that not everybody's going to always respond the way you want, and having to deal with the discomfort that comes with really pursuing the things that you truly, deeply want. So the danger in this experiment is that you're going to have to step outside your comfort zone. This is going to be hard at times. And I really want you to push yourself. The other day, I asked you to come up with some things that you want to create, you want to experience, you want to change. And you might have had some things that came to mind, but I really want you to go deeper. I want you to go really deep. And I want you to think about the things that maybe you've wanted in the past that you've stopped wanting because it was too painful, or something that you wanted and had no control over because nature works in a way where we can't always control that. And being able to explore how hard it is to want when we can't always get the things we want. Really playing around with wanting. It's really fascinating when you explore this. When I was doing research for the book, I was just totally just blown away by this concept of wanting, how hard it is to want, because our education is not about teaching us to go after what we want. It's about teaching us to be good enough so that people will want us, so that colleges will want us, so that employers will want us, so that we will be desirable enough for people to want us. The emphasis isn't as much put on us being great at wanting and navigating through the outcomes. It's more about grooming us so that we can be the very best, so that we can live the best life. But it becomes very hard to be able to pursue the things that align with our interests and joy, because we don't really train, we don't practice. An example, I was at an event talking to a group of juniors in high school, and I had everyone close their eyes. And I said, okay, imagine you live in a world where there's no rejection, there's no shame. You're able to get whatever you want. I said, what do you want? And this one student raised her hand, and I said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "I don't know how to do this." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because no one's ever asked me what I want. My parents have always told me what to do. My teachers have always told me what I should want." And I just got chills because it was just so real and so true, because we're not great at going after what we want. And the way our culture is organized is that we could be terrible at going after what we want, but still we can get all these things that seem to be amazing, but yet we don't even know how we were able to get them. You can go to school, you can graduate, you can get an amazing job, you can get paid a ton of money because people will want you and you'll be recruited. You can even find love, because if you're in a room long enough, something will happen, right? Like that's how love works. If you're in a room long enough, you hook up. And I joke around, if you're in a room with alcohol, it happens faster. Not a good thing. But you could be terrible at taking risks and going after what you want and still find love. This is actually from my wedding. This is a wonderful moment. I actually did take the risk because I was comfortable with rejection. But most people really struggle with this. They want to wait for somebody to make the first move, which means they end up waiting for other people to want them. And that is not a very powerful way to live life. You could have a family, you could have, look, you could be in a tent with lights with your little people and not be great at wanting, because wanting is really scary and it can be incredibly dangerous, and it's not something we really think about or learn how to do. And the reason it's so scary, the reason it could be so uncomfortable, is because when you take your risk, and during this experiment you're going to take a risk, and I'm so excited to be there in your corner along the way. Here's what's going to happen. One of three things. Number one, you will not get it. I'm sorry, you won't get it right away. You may never get it, right? You're going to get something else, but you might not get it. And this is where you have to deal with the possibility of rejection, the pain, the self doubt, the shame, the anger, the humiliation, the confusion. You know, when we get rejected, our brain processes it the same way we process physical pain. No wonder why you don't want to go after what you want, because if you've been hurt in the past, you don't want to get hurt again. But what happened in the past is not going to happen in the future the same way, because I'm going to give you a framework to navigate what happens next, to filter through the outcomes. So if you don't get what you want, it doesn't have to be painful. You don't have to doubt yourself. You can process it in a way that's going to help you to learn. It's going to help you to grow. The second outcome that's possible is you will get it. This is awesome. You can get it. You're going to get it. You're going to get a lot of great things. But then once you get it, imposter syndrome sets in. Am I good enough? Oh my gosh, people are going to find out that I'm a fraud. When I found love, it's like, you're going to find out my stomach's too big, or my skin hangs over my pants, or I am too needy, or I am too needy, or I'm desperate, or I'm not good enough in some particular way. You're going to be afraid that people are going to find out. You might start to worry about everybody else because you want to keep what you have, and other people might replace you, or they might be better than you. So that's where the fear and anxiety, the self-doubt, the jealousy, the envy comes in. Because once you're in this place, you want to keep it. It's scary to think about losing it. But I got news for you. The third possible outcome when you go after what you want is that you will get it and you will lose it. I'm sorry, but that is how it works. Everything is temporary. We don't get to hang on to anything forever, even when it comes to life. I want to live as long as I can possibly live. But I know that eventually that's going to end too, right? Nothing is forever. Retirement, you're no longer in that position. You no longer have that identity. Now, this is universal. We all lose things, jobs, because of the environment we're in. People can lose a job. It's not because you aren't incredibly talented and qualified. It might be because you were the last person who was hired, so you're the first person who's let go. Breakups happen all the time because that's the nature of relationships. We have health issues. Our health changes. Our strength diminishes over time. Then there are these natural disasters that will force change upon us. We don't want those things, but we can't control those things. Change is a constant. And when you recognize that wanting is inherently dangerous and scary, instead of not wanting or burying the feelings that revolve around wanting or just pretending you don't want, you could acknowledge this. And then it becomes, okay, well, how can I work through this? Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to help you to want and to be equipped so that you can handle all three of these things. Embrace these things. Become someone who's amazing at handling whatever comes next. This is what turns you into a superhero. I'm not even kidding. Like the next lessons, they're all about helping you to get comfortable with the changes that come with taking risks, knowing that you are going to be okay no matter what. Because if you know you're going to be okay no matter what, then you can want again and again and again, and you can help others to want as well. It is like having a superpower, and I want to help you to get there. So there are questions today. When did you get hurt wanting? I really want you to think about this. What is it that you wanted? How does this make you feel today when reflecting on the things that you didn't want? So the questions: when did you get hurt wanting? What happened? How does this make you feel today? You can share more than one thing. You can share as much or as little as you want. It's really a wonderful experience to reflect on this. This is the Facebook group. It's a wonderful community to support people along the way. You can share it with friends and family. You can also follow me on social media. I'm doing some really cool stuff that I'm really proud of, and I look forward to connecting with you in different ways. Also, please invite friends and family and people in your life to participate in this Win or Learn 25-day risk-taking experiment. It could be a colleague, it could be a student, it could be anyone in your life. They can join at any time because I give them access to all the videos, and you can even get like risk-taking groups, and we can all do it together. So please share. I'm so grateful to be in your corner. And as always, I look forward to continuing the conversation. Thanks.